Steve Ovett returns to Cork, scene of famous triumphs in the past, and second to Frank O'Mara last year in the Harp Lager Mile, comes back to try and make the event his own. And beside him, wearing 170, Steve Scott, something of a nearly man of international athletics. The only medal he really has to show for all his efforts over the years is silver behind Steve Cram in the inaugural World 1500-meter Championship in Helsinki. He's 170. He had a fabulous run at Bislett at the weekend. Ovett still wants to prove he's top-class metric miler, and he's got some tough competition here, not only from Scott, but also from Enda Fitzpatrick there in the middle, and from Tommy Moloney of Thurles Crokes. And Dermot Riley of Donore Harriers is the early leader. Ovett is in third position at the moment and eases up into second. And Scott, Steve Scott, of whom a lot is expected, is some way back in the pack. But it's Riley of Donore who leads them, and Ovett is in second place, and he's taken them off at quite a spanking pace. Tommy Moloney of Thurles Crokes is in third, and then it's Steve Scott in fourth. Home straight for the first time, 3 laps to go. Riley leads from Ovett, then Moloney, then Scott, then Horsfield and Ritchie, Neil Horsfield and Glenn Ritchie, a Welshman leading an Australian. 56.77 for the first 400. And still it's Riley who leads them on. A fair old pace for the evening that it is. And now at this stage of the evening, as the light dims, there's a chill in the air. Scott just being asked by Ovett to take up the running, Moloney on Ovett's shoulder. But still, it's Riley who leads. But early days to be making any comments about the state of the parties behind him. And just at that, he has a little look to see who's where. Scott is in second place. It's Ovett in third. And moving up the outside is Chris McGeorge of Loughborough University. Out goes the pacemaker, Dermot Riley. And Chris McGeorge now takes up third with Ovett second, both behind Scott. 1:57.50 for the first 800. First 800, second 400, of course. And it's still Steve Scott taking them along from Steve Ovett. McGeorge is now in fourth position. And still, it's Steve Scott. Into the home straight for the penultimate time. Tommy Moloney of Thurles Crokes. And Taylor is in there too. At the end of this, they'll have 1 lap to go. And we can then expect it to open up. They've all bunched up again together. It's Scott who takes the bell. Conway, Taylor and McGeorge are there too. And also Enda Fitzpatrick. 2:59.64 for the 1200 meters. And it's still Scott who leads. Frank Conway of Ivera tries to mount a challenge. And Scott still holds on. Gary Taylor is the little man in the white singlet with the blue shorts. Scott lengthens his stride. Ovett is nowhere to be seen, way back. It's Steve Scott stretching them out once again, and class beginning to tell for the 32-year-old from California. Into the crowd of the bend for the last time. Steve Scott leads. In second place, it's Gary Taylor. But Scott has now opened up a commanding lead. Strong finish from Tommy Moloney. But nobody's going to catch Steve Scott. He's running away with it. And a battle on for second here. And Tommy Moloney just holds on from Chris McGeorge in third. And a personal triumph for Tommy Moloney. Third last year. Coming home behind Steve Scott in a time of 3:56 or thereabouts. Which was a very good performance on a very chilly evening from Tommy Moloney, but Scott showing his class there, toyed with the field and then opened it up as they came to the home straight and comfortably cruising home, and the battle really on here for second place. Moloney just holding off Chris McGeorge as they battled past Gary Taylor for the minor placings, but the winner very definitely Steve Scott. Moloney second and McGeorge third. And Steve Scott